Oh, what is the upskis, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GXGamerCast. Oh, forgot what show we're doing. GamerCast episode 92 of my little gaming show where once a week I just has to talk about video games. New games that I'm playing today, old games that I grew up with. It doesn't matter. Video games. You like video games? You might have a good time here today, and we're doing a list video. Part 2 of the underrated games. I did a first part of underrated games in my opinion. They may not be underrated in actuality, but it's just how I feel. So if you want to go back and track down that episode, you may go ahead and do that, but it will not hurt your entertainment of listening or watching this episode. So we'll be doing some more underrated video games. I think I have 14 on this list right here. I usually do 13, but fuck it, we're doing 14. And hell yeah, but before we get into the list video, let's talk about what I've been up to over the last week or so, and always encourage you, the viewer, the listener, what you've been up to over the last whatever amount of time. Don't matter what games have you been playing, there's so many freaking games. I feel like there was a huge drop of like indie games that just happened recently, like Big Kitty, Little City, they had that Animal Well dropped, Donkey's game dropped, like there's a bunch of indie games out there. If anyone's playing any of that, let me know. I downloaded Animal Well, but I have not gotten to it yet for reasons. But yeah, let me know what games you're playing, movies that you've seen, old, new, doesn't matter. Let me know what you're watching. Same goes with TV shows as I let you know what I've been up to. Oh, buddy, where do we go? I think this is the first time in a long time I didn't watch Survivor this week. There was no more Survivor for my wife and I to watch, at least here in Canada. We've gone through 32 to 45. They're doing 46 right now, but we're just going to wait until that one is done. So no Survivor this week. What the heck did we do with ourselves? Well, I finished Fallout. It was outstanding. I'm not going to spoil anything, but definitely an awesome watch. And again, I continue to see articles of how successful the show is, and it makes me so happy. Very interested with how they left the final episode, that final scene there. Very cool. Yeah, man, from episode 1 till the last episode 8, I enjoyed every single episode. Definitely some things that we didn't see yet that are like staples of the Fallout franchise and world that, oh man, I just can't wait till maybe we see them next season, maybe not, but oh yeah, they're just scratching the surface with Fallout right here, but so far, so freaking good. Let me know if you watched the show and enjoyed it. I certainly did. I would recommend it to anybody as long as you're fine with violence and everything and that kind of thing. Excellent show. Loved it. My wife and I just the other night started watching Getting On. This is an older show. I think it's from 2013. It's on HBO, and it's about just people working in the extended healthcare industry. And it's like almost like an Office style comedy. Like it's got the camera stuff, and it's a comedy. And my wife was like, my wife works in healthcare, so she's like, she's like, I'm gonna love this, and maybe it'll help you like to understand how rough her job can be. And trust me, I already know. I've never worked in it, so I don't know on that level, but I know her job is not easy. And so, but watched a handful of episodes last night, like 2 or 3. Really funny. Like, I'm enjoying it. I was giggling. It's got Lois Griffin, the voice actor. She's in it. She's playing a nurse or a PS something. She's playing something. And yeah, so far, like, I look over at my wife every now and again when like a particularly maybe an annoying situation happens. I look over to her and see if she's like nodding her head with like what's going on, like, oh yeah, I deal with this all the time, and like, oh yeah, so she's really enjoying that. So if there's anyone out there working in healthcare and you're looking for a funny show about your job potentially, check out Getting On. It's pretty freaking good. I think it's 3 seasons. That's all there is. I don't think it's still going or anything, but yeah, pretty good so far. Finished off the final season or final episode of Dark Side of the Ring. For me, it was a whatever episode. It was just about like McMahon buying up all the territories and building up what would be the WWF/WWE. I'm very, very familiar with that story, so it was just like, yeah, just kind of rehashing things I already knew, but an outstanding show. If you have not watched Dark Side of the Ring, get your ass in there. Incredibly dark and very interesting stories revolving around the wrestling business. Not just WWE, like old territories. Like it's very inclusive. Like there's a bunch of shit that me, a diehard wrestling fan, I learned a lot watching the 3 seasons. So yeah, it's a high recommend on that one as well. And ladies and gentlemen, I watched a movie this week. Yes, I watched a movie. Probably, this is what happens when I don't have all the Survivor in the world to watch, but I got a movie in, and I had this one on my list. I wasn't actually going for this one last night. I was going to watch rather Thanksgiving or Saw 10. I guess I wanted a horror movie a little bit. Something that my wife wouldn't watch, basically. But then I saw Poor Things. Saw that one again, and I was like, oh yeah, that was the one that I skipped on last time and picked a different one. I was like, oh yeah, so I went and watched Poor Things, and wow, this movie was outstanding. Oh my god, it was so good. Only thing is, man, I wish I was doing some shrooms when I watched this. This is a shroom movie, man. It is fantasy, it's funky, it's weird, it's hilarious. It's a lot of things. This movie freaking rules. Just scratching the surface of what basically the story is. You got a woman who has the brain of an infant inside of her, and she is just kind of living life with that brain. So she is developing faster. So like as the days go on, she's getting smarter and smarter. And holy fuck, what an outstanding movie. I was like in from the beginning. Like they get right into it. No fluff. It's just an outstandingly entertaining, funny, very sex-filled movie. So don't watch this with like a sibling or your kids or something. Tons of sex. I love Emma Stone, and she was outstanding in this film. Absolutely outstanding performance. I'm not like a big critiquer of acting and stuff like that, but she was fucking brilliant in that movie. From the range, like it's such a subtle change as she is going from literally the brain of a baby to a full adult brain, like functioning as a normal human. It's just this transition. It's beautifully done, well acted. Mark Ruffalo, I don't like that dude, really. He's not my favorite, but he was amazing. He plays this like rich, fancy, steal your girl kind of guy, and like, man, by the end of the movie, he's like a completely different dude. Outstanding performance. Willem Dafoe is in this, that creepy fucking son of a bitch, and he's even creepier in this movie, but he's great movie. 9 out of 10. This is an outstanding movie. Do not miss this one. It's just really quirky. It's hard to put it in a genre because it's rocking a lot. I guess fantasy comedy if you had to, because I was giggling all throughout it, and I was not on shrooms. I was just naturally giggling. It's a very stunning movie to look at, a very unique looking movie, a lot of vibrant colors. It starts out in black and white, but then it like goes into color mode, and you're like, whoa, this is like, yeah, some really weird art direction. Like, yeah, man, I was all in on this movie. Fucking loved it. Really loved it. And yeah, check that one out. I watched it on Disney. Don't skip this one. Trust me, it's really, really freaking good. And Emma Stone, man, like, she's outstanding. Like, I love her. I've loved her ever since I saw her in, I think it was Superbad was the first time I saw her, and I've always had a crush on her. You do get to see a lot of Emma in this movie, but that's not why I watched it. She got awarded lots of awards for this performance, and now I see why. Just the premise of the movie just caught me. I was like, that sounds so wacky, and it is a very wacky movie. I loved it. So yeah, highest recommendations, absolutely check out Poor Things, 9 out of 10. Let's talk some video games, baby. So what have I been playing this week? A lot of Fire Emblem. Still crushing Fire Emblem. I was just really engrossed with it this week. Like, I was on this big mission where it's like, literally, it's like just, you gotta kill everybody, and they just kept coming, like wave after wave. It was like 50 people I had to take out, and it just took like a long time, and I had a blast doing it. It was so much fun. I'm almost debating like doing a review now for Fire Emblem because it is such a long game, and I am really, really liking it to the point that, yeah, I probably could do a review, or, I have a lot in the works with this Nintendo online library, like the games. I want to do something with that, like a ranking and games I want on it, and review a handful here and there, because I played quite a few games, on the Switch Online, and Fire Emblem so far has been one of my favorites. Game Boy Advance game, loving it. It is a little long, like I'm not complaining, because I'm just like, I can go for another level of it, because this gameplay, the what do you call it, the grid-based strategy games, it's my bread and butter. I love it. So still playing through Fire Emblem. I'm definitely getting close to the end. There's probably only a few more missions, so potentially a review for Fire Emblem could be incoming. I've also been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 16 still, of course. Gonna keep it pretty limited because I will be reviewing this one in full, but loving it. Absolutely loving it. Probably 15, 16 hours-ish now. So, again, it's just nice and consistently moving the story along. I'm still very into the story, which is not normal for me, especially with the Final Fantasy ones. They usually get, like, really crazy and just confusing. This one, getting into review mode. I'm not going to get too deep into it. Playing Final Fantasy 16, it's unbelievable. Loving it. And I've been playing a little bit of Rayman Legends. Not too much, just a little bit. And also noting that I have not played any Diablo 4 in a little bit, but me and the homies, it's like the May long weekend. I got it booked off, like everyone's off this weekend, so we're going to be crushing some freaking Diablo 4 this week. And I think there's like a new season or something just started. My homie Jesse just told me, so I don't know what the hell's going to be happening in Diablo 4 this weekend, but I'm going to be getting in there. So there you go. That's everything I've been up to over the last week. Let's talk about some potentially underrated games, at least the ones that I think are underrated. Oh, buddy, here we are again, talking about some underrated games. Now, again, this is a subjective list, as all of them are. These are just my opinions. It's not solidified. You could have potentially played all of these games on this list if you're a big old nerd. But nah, if you played a handful of them, great. If you played none of them, then take my recommendation. Give some of these games a try. Some of them are older than others. Some are fairly new. I don't know, maybe I'll have to look over this list a little bit closer. I made this list a long time ago. Sporadically I would think about a game in bed or something. I'm like, oh, I should write that down. That's kind of an underrated game. And the one, I'm going to start off with the one that literally, just came to me so randomly in bed, and I have not played this game. I never even owned this game. I actually only played the demo for it, but I played the bejesus out of that demo. I loved it so much. The game was so fun. Have you figured out what game it is yet? There's no freaking way. Xbox 360, Stuntman Ignition. Holy jumpin'. This is a game that I really wish I picked up, but I felt like I got a good feel for the game just throughout the demo, because I think the demo gave you like 3 or 4 levels to play, and it's just stupid, fun, arcadey ridiculousness with a car. You're a stuntman in a car doing stunts in the car. Very simple, but so fun. Like, the controls were super good, I remember, and the challenges were just really fun. Like, rather wreck up the car, smash up this stuff, or you're doing like epic movie scenes. Like, I think one level you're like this big ice freaking thing. You're basically doing like a James Bond like getaway car scene. You're just like dodging missiles, and I might be mistaking it. Again, haven't played it since like probably 2007 or 8, but man, I still think about this game, which, I mean, it must have been doing something right. I can't fully remember if Stuntman ever went on for any more games, or I feel like that style of game is still out there, beyond me. If it is, and you know what it is, let me know. Maybe I would like it now, but maybe like Wreckfest. I know quite a few people have played Wreckfest. I don't know what the hell that is, but Stuntman Ignition, dog. Oh my god, that game was just stupid fun. Was it like groundbreaking in gameplay or like anything really? No, it's just really fun, and sometimes that's what makes a great game. It doesn't have to be amazing music and graphics and storytelling. It's just got to be fun, and I thought Stuntman Ignition was a ton of fun. So that is the game I'm kicking off this list with. We'll move on to the next one, which Man, I was so against this game. When it got announced, I laughed at it. I was like, no way, that's so stupid. No one's gonna buy that. They're just cashing in. This is stupid. And that game, technically games, are DJ Hero. Oh, dude, I was so wrong about DJ Hero. Oh, like I said, when it got announced, I laughed at it. I was like, that's so stupid. And, at this time, that's when, especially like Activision and Guitar Hero, they were getting, I'm not going to say desperate, but they were definitely like milking that Guitar Hero freaking cow dry. Like they had Band Hero, Guitar Hero, up to freaking 50 of them. They had band specific Guitar Heroes. They had Greatest Hits Guitar Hero. They had, what else did they have now? There had to have been some other ones, but then they have DJ Hero. I'm like, what the fuck is DJ Hero about? And honestly, I think maybe a little premature was DJ Hero. DJing is like way bigger now, am I right? Like everyone's doing the fucking DJ thing. Your grandma's DJing on the weekends part-time. Shaq's a fucking DJ. Like everyone's a DJ. My cat over there, that's DJ Pumpy. That's my cat. She's cool. So DJ Hero, maybe if that came out like nowadays and people maybe would be more receptive to it. But yeah, I chewed it up and spat it out until kind of the great fall of the band, the accessory games went away, and I picked up DJ Hero. Oh man, I feel like at a Best Buy, I got it for like $20, the whole bundle with the freaking thing. I still have it, bro. I still have it. Of course, why would I get rid of it? Because it's awesome. Played this thing, and I think it was like $130 initially, which I was like, no friggin' way. But for $20, bro, I had one of the best freaking weekends of my life. Sitting there, learning this new instrument, which at that time has been a long time. I mastered the drums, I mastered the guitar, and I didn't have any other new instruments. So this was fun to start from ground one with the song, and the music was like, I'm not that kind of, like, now I'm fine with pretty much any music, but back then I was a little more selective, and especially with rap and pop music, but they just have these outstanding remixes, like their track list is just filled with remixes of very popular songs, and they will mix them together, like, perfectly, and you're, like, transitioning between tracks live. I was blown away, and it's incredibly fun. The freaking peripheral, I loved it. It's, it's goofy looking, sure. It's just, but it's so fun. Like, you spin the disc, like, it spins, like, and it's got the button, like, I was blown away. And, like, you're sliding the slider side, like, oh, man, like, I got pretty good with DJ Hero. I got up to the expert level where I'm fucking sliding the thing left and right and twisting my knob, and I'm fucking, it's just, oh, DJ Hero is unbelievable. I love DJ Hero. I played the shit out of the first one, loved it so much, bought the second one, and played the shit out of it. I would still, if my wife asked me, yo, bust out DJ Hero, I'm not even hesitating. It's coming out. I know exactly where it all is. I loved DJ Hero. It's so freaking good. Apparently, I could talk a lot about DJ Hero. Maybe we'll do a DJ Hero retrospective one day. Love that game. Check it out. Who knows? They're probably hard to find now, but fuck. Love that game. Up next, we got one of my Games of the Year nominees last year, and that was Immortality, which is just an outstanding, very unique, dark, twisted, fucked up indie game, which really stuck with me. It's like a card-building roguelite. It's very strange. It's definitely not for everybody, but if you're looking for something a little outside of the box, a little different, this game takes a couple of twists. Like, you start out in one style of game, and then it, like, completely shifts art style, but you're still playing the same game, basically. It just changes, and the story is just so weird and twisted and mysterious. You're just like, what the hell is going on? A lot of weird shit. Like, I can't really dive too into it because it's a game to be experienced. I don't want to take away some of the cool things, but there's, like, some teeth stuff going on there that's really fucked up, and yeah, it's just the gameplay was fun. I love card stuff too. Anything if it has some form of strategy with its cards, fucking grid based, I don't care. If it's got strategy, I love it. And Immortality stands the test for me as one of my favorite indie games as well ever made. It was on I don't remember what spot it landed on. You'll have to go back and listen to my favorite indie games of all time. It wasn't that long ago, so go back there. There's also a full review of Immortality back there somewhere. I maybe should have jotted down some episode numbers so I can send you somewhere, but they're not hard to find. Just look them up. But Immortality, indie game that stands out among them. And it's, that's kind of saying, I know people still aren't all the way in with indie games, but man, this is the type of game that will open your eyes to indie games and be like, oh shit, like, they're doing some fucking cool shit over here that, Activision, EA, they ain't doing that shit. Maybe a little bit, but definitely not onto this level. Immortality, sickeningly awesome. We move on to yet another strategy type game, but this one rather unique, I must say, and that is Valkyria Chronicles. I don't really know much about that whole entire franchise. I think there's a bunch of RPGs like Valkyria Profile or some shit like that. I remember reading about them a lot in the GamePro magazines, and I remember them having high scores. And then this game came out, Valkyria Chronicles, and I was like, what the hell is that? I think it was the homie. He's not my homie, but I wish he was, because I've watched him for so freaking long on YouTube. It's almost been like from 3 years from now, it's going to be like 20 years I've been watching Pete Dorr on YouTube. Still watch him. And he was talking about this game. Really obscure, unique RPG strategy game. Now, it's very unique that it's not grid-based. It's almost like you're there on the field and you're moving the people like real characters. And the cool thing is, it's kind of like steampunk era, and you're equipped with guns and stuff, and you actually get to take the shots. If you know XCOM, one of the funniest things about XCOM is that it has like a percentage-based thing for your shots. So it's like, all right, I am 1 inch from this alien's head with a shotgun pointed at its head, and I have 70% chance to hit it. It's like, what? And in Valkyria Chronicles, it puts it on you, and that is it's extremely stressful, but incredibly fun. I loved sniping. I love the sniper units in this game, because you're just way back there, put yourself in a good spot in a nice open area, and they just funnel in. You're just bow, bow. And it has machine guns and a really unique art style. Very cool looking art style, kind of like a watercolor painting storybook type situation. Really cool. I don't remember anything about the story. It's war and shit like that. I imagine bad people trying to take some land that isn't theirs and you're trying to stop them. I do recall this game being rather difficult though. I remember going at this game twice and getting stuck at the same mission twice. And I think it was when it's kind of a stealth mission where you're going through the forest and you're avoiding mortar shells while trying to be sneaky and taking out people in the forest. It was not an easy game. I found it very difficult, and I'm a fairly seasoned strategy game guy, but this one's very unique. I just like the way that I am in more control than most strategy games. Especially the grid-based ones, you're limited to the grid. But here, it's you're in a normal action game, but it's hard. It's something you're probably just going to have to look up gameplay. It's hard to explain it, but yeah, the first time I saw that, I was like, that looks so freaking cool. That just looks like so much fun. And I dived into it. I loved it. I keep seeing them on the Switch. I see the combo pack, Chronicle 1 and 2, and I'm like, man, I would love to play these on the Switch. I'll probably pick them up one day if I see a good deal for it. I just remember it being difficult and I couldn't get through it, and I don't know, that was over 10 years ago. I would hope I'm a little bit smarter than I was 10 years ago, but who knows? I've surprised myself in the past, but yeah, check out Valkyria Chronicles if you need yet another strategy-type game recommendation from myself, but it's there. Speaking, oh my god, I should have okay, let's just skip that one. We'll come back to it because it's another fucking strategy game. Let's go to Titanfall 2, probably on most people's underrated list, and for good reason. I used to think all right, I've watched a lot of these lists, on YouTube, underrated games, because it's a list that generally is not the same from person to person, but Titanfall 2 always seemed to be on it, and I was like, all right, is it just becoming a trend now for people just to throw it on there because it's on everyone's list? But I played it, and I can fully confirm, fuck yeah, this game is outstanding. One of the best first-person shooter campaigns I have played in probably 10 years. Like, I can't think of another one that was as good as this one. Actually, Wolfenstein 2, which I played this year, actually, that was also very, very good. But in terms of that, like, Call of Duty, because it's made by a lot of the old Call of Duty guys, it blows any Call of Duty campaign out of the fucking water from the last 10 years. Easily, I don't remember barely anything from any Call of Duty campaign since, like, World at War, Modern Warfare 2. So Titanfall 2, incredibly fun campaign. You can get the game probably free. You could probably find a copy outside somewhere. Someone's probably throwing it around. Grab it, play it. It's so much fun. It's balls to the wall action. The gameplay, it's, like I said, made by the Call of Duty guys. The shooting is, it's so tight, so precise, and just a good variety. Like, it's not that long. It's like maybe 5-6 hours, but fuck, they stick in a lot of action, a lot of variety in there. Outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. The thing that killed Titanfall is that they put it up against, they released it at the wrong time. It was going up, I don't know if they put it up directly against Battlefield and Call of Duty, and it lost that war, but man, it shouldn't have. This is way better than Call of Duty. Like, I wish the online was still going, so I could have gave it a try, but I'm part of the problem, I guess. I didn't play it when we should have been playing it, but I don't know if we'll ever get a Titanfall 3, but I'm pretty sure Respawn's still working, so I don't know. Who knows these days? I was going to do an episode on the whole Xbox debacle. We'll probably do an episode on that soon, like another State of Gaming, because holy fuck, I thought it couldn't get any worse, but it got a lot worse lately. So again, off track a little bit there, but what game am I talking about right here? Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2, trust me, it's really freaking good. You can get it so cheap. Just try it. You can get through it in a weekend, and you will love it. If you like first-person shooter, I'm not even the biggest first-person shooter guy anymore, but every now and again, I just want to fucking shoot some shit, fuck some shit up, and just feel like an all-powerful human, and you can do that in Titanfall 2. Really, really fun. All right, let's go to another indie game. The Artful Escape. This is another really short and sweet game. Preferably if you like music. I'm a big music guy. I play drums. I love music. Just love it. That's as simple as that. I love music, and I saw this game pop up on Game Pass. It's probably still there. And it's a game that I heard you can beat in like a few hours, which you can, and it's just delightful. It's just kind of an experience. It's not like challenging really in any way. You're basically just walking to the right or the left. It's just mostly walking and experiencing it. It's just visually stimulating, musically excellent, lots of great music, a charming, fun story, and yeah, just something, if you got a little boring, nice weekend, just sitting there, try some Artful Escape, man. It's just a nice, Sunday morning coffee game, super relaxing, really, really good. I don't think I've been able to get anyone successfully to play it as many times as I recommended this game to people, because it's so short and sweet. Like, even if you didn't like it, it was only a few hours, and it may not be for everybody, but like I said, if you like music, check it out. Check out a trailer. Again, it's something like you don't even need to have a brain for this one. It's so easy. You're just walking. Basically, it's just a walking type thing, but not like first person. It's not that like walking sim. You're like, it's just check it out. All right, geez, just check it out. All right, we'll go back to the strategy game, which is Wargroove. I talk about Wargroove all the freaking time. This might be one that was hella successful and a ton of people played, because there is a Wargroove 2 now, which I haven't gotten to and I can't wait, but there's other strategy games I want to try first. This game blew me away, honestly, at just how freaking good it was. Like, if you need another grid-based strategy RPG type thing, this one is so much fun. And another one you can get really cheap. It's just really fun. It's almost exactly like Fire Emblem, like that, like I played Wargroove first. I'm playing Fire Emblem now, and I'm like right at home with the mechanics and how everything works. It's very simple. Well, simple. It's not like a hardcore strategy where you're just like, oh man, I'm spending 30 minutes thinking about my next move. No, it's pretty straightforward, fun. Like, not gonna go to the level of like baby's first grid-based strategy RPG or anything, but man, that game was a lot of fun. I still think about it, and I just can't wait to get to Wargroove 2, but I'm saving it, god damn it. Alright, let's see, can we find something that's not a strategy RPG? I found one. Here we go. This one's on the Nintendo Wii, so I don't think anyone's going to go out of their way to track this one down to play it, but man, when me and the homie Billy played this one, and we loved it, and that game is GoldenEye 007 on the Wii. Now, this isn't necessarily the GoldenEye that maybe we were asking for at that time. This was like a reboot kind of remake of GoldenEye with Daniel Craig in it instead of Pierce Brosnan, which was like pretty cool, right? I thought that was a little good touch there. But the thing is about this game is actually damn fine. I don't remember who makes it, but it might be one of like the off Call of Duty teams or something. But this game plays nice, even on the Wii, dude, with the motion controls. I played this. This was like one of the only games I played online on the Wii, and it was awesome. Like, I really didn't have any connection issues. And bro, the homie Billy got like dirty good online on this game. He figured out that like, oh shit, I can just melee people and instantly kill them in one shot. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Call of Duty style right there, bruh. And yeah, we would just run around mutilating people. It was really fun, man, and incredibly satisfying that the Wii motion controls worked with the gunplay, and you're sitting there pointing and shooting people using sniper rifles, and the campaign was actually really, really good. I was actually immensely surprised. I remember renting this just to kind of play not the multiplayer, well maybe, but I also tried out the campaign, and it was really fucking fun. It was really, really, really good. So if you weren't satisfied, I think they did like, they ported this game onto console and it did not work. But this game was really good. I was surprised. I think even the homie Billy got like the box set, and it came with a golden Pro controller, and that thing, I was jealous as fuck with that thing. That thing was so fine. You can also play it without the motion controls. I know that's like the preferred way. I didn't have a Pro controller for my Wii, so I played it with the motion controls online, and I had a fucking blast, man. I used to play 007 Nightfire a ton on PS2. I played so much of that game because it had bots, and it really brought me back to that, like, just feeling like that, but like actually being able to play it with people. All I wanted was to play it with real people back then, but my sister and dad didn't want to play with me, and so, but thankfully for bots back then. But yo, that game was bumping. That was one of the better Wii games that I played, and I was not expecting it to be that good, but GoldenEye 007 on the Wii, pretty fuck good right there. Alright, what do we got up next? This one, again, may not be all that underrated in actuality, but I'm saying Metal Gear Rising, because no one really talks about that game outside of the extremely hard boss at the end of the game, which I can confirm, yeah, that motherfucker hard. He really hard. I have a full episode reviewing Metal Gear Solid Rising, and the thing that blows me away about this game was the sword mechanics. They're so fucking good. You get this, like, full control of your katana, and you can slice and dice up enemies in any way you want, any direction you want, as many times as you want. It was so incredibly fun, and I have never played with a mechanic anything like that since. And like, if you put something like that in a Sekiro, like just like a fun finishing move where I can just chop up a bitch, like cut his arms off, cut his finger off, cut the top part of his head off, it doesn't matter. I can scalp a bitch, I can cut watermelons, I can cut banana, it doesn't matter. It's fucking Metal Gear Solid, and that by far is just one of the coolest gameplay mechanics ever. Now, this game is hard to recommend for your average gamer because this game is fucking hard. Holy shit. This game is really hard. I almost quit literally on the first boss fight because I was just like, oh shit, am I in the mood for this right here? And I held out. I finished the game, and there was probably 3 or 4 boss fights in that game that will stick with me as some of the hardest I have ever fought, period. But if you are looking for some fun, action-packed, just hack and slash gameplay, one of the funnest. If you can get over the difficulty, if you can get through that difficulty, it is one of the funnest ones I have played. You know, kind of like that Bayonetta, Devil May Cry style type of game. It is, one of the best ones. And why I feel it's underrated is that I don't think a lot of people played it. Like, I remember I was very interested in it, but not at full price. So I was like, it's not a long game. I got through it in probably 6 hours or so with like 50 retries of the bosses and stuff. So it's not a very long game. Not something I would recommend at full price, but you can get it very cheap now. It's pretty easily. I don't even remember how I got this game, but it was on my Xbox, so I played it there. And yeah, I don't think we're ever going to see much out of this kind of series again. I don't know if we're going to see Raiden again, which is a shame because I feel like there's definitely a group of people that like quit with Metal Gear Solid at Metal Gear Solid 2, which is a shame because Raiden becomes one of like arguably more badass than Solid Snake is in this series. And Metal Gear Rising is like a continuation of what he it's literally a continuation after Metal Gear Solid 4. You continue the story like 2-3 years after the events of that, and you're playing as badass ninja cyborg Raiden, and it's awesome. I do remember complaining about the voice acting for Raiden because it sounded like there was 2 people voicing him. One was bad, one was good. So I don't know, but regardless, Raiden to me, one of the most badass guys, and I loved his game. I don't think we'll probably see another one, but man, will someone just grab that mechanic and use something like that? Oh my goodness, it was so much freaking fun. All right, up next let's go with another indie game, because I think indie games, other than like the really big ones, pretty much across the board underrated. So I'll go with another one that was one of my favorites from last year, which is a little bit of an older one, but it's Pyre. Pyre is, I don't remember if it is Supergiant that makes it. I don't think so, but someone good makes it, and this one was on my list for a very long time because of this really unique sounding game that it is. It's this like the comparison it gets the most is basketball, but I don't really know if it's like basketball mixed with rugby, where you have this team of very unique characters with all their own little story and gameplay uses. The story is wicked, and you have like a decision to make while you're playing this game of like rugby basketball, where you're just trying to get a ball to the other end, and while the other people are trying to stop you. But the goal is, like, when you win, someone gets sended back to the real world. Like, you're basically dead, and you're trying to play your way back to the real world, and you have to make a decision each time at a certain, like, basically a big tournament match. Basically, you get to select one person to go, and it's like a huge decision because you're like, man, am I going to send like one of my best players, like someone that's really good on the field that like really wants to go home, or send someone that doesn't really want to go but isn't all that useful to me? So you got like these mental fucking gymnastics you're playing with, and you're learning the characters. They all have these great stories, a great group of characters. The music is amazing. The gameplay is super unique, and yeah, this game really sticks with me. It's a gorgeous game. I just wish, I don't know why I waited so long. I had this game in my library for like 4 or 5 years, and I was like, all right, I'll finally get to it. And within 10-15 minutes, I was like, oh shit, this is charming as fuck. The music, the characters, the art style. Damn, that game was good. Don't miss out on Pyre. It's still like immensely playable now. I will admit, it's probably going to be very playable 10 years from now because it's got such a gorgeous art style, timeless look to it, and a great story. Check that one out. It is so freaking good. we move on now. What do we got? Let's go for this one. Was really interesting. It was actually on someone else's underrated list, and I was like, holy fuck, I played that game, and it was really dope. And that game is Shadow of Rome. This is a PS2 game, so I don't expect y'all to go out there track this one down, but man, this game was dope. I remember renting this at Blockbuster, and man, I don't know. I just would pick the most random games when I went to Blockbuster. I remember picking Jaws the video game, and just when there were such good games like right there, layups in front of me, and I just went for the weirdest things. But I tried out this Shadow of Rome game. You look at the cover, it's pretty basic, just like a Rome knight man, and he's swinging a sword. I'm like, cool. It's extremely bloody. I'm pretty sure it's rated M, and you're like ripping people in half. It's like a hack and slash, and like I only played a bit of it because I only rented it for the weekend, but it was so much fun. You're just hacking and slashing through like waves of enemies. It's almost like a Dynasty Warriors. There's just a big waves of enemies, and you're just slaughtering them with special moves. And I feel like you could do like German suplexes and like tear people in half and ripping their heads off and shit like that. Almost like God of War level like gore in there. It was very gory, very bloody. Thankfully my grandma wasn't watching me very closely when I played this game. But then it like shifts into like, it's not just this hack and slash game. Then you get these like other levels that are like these really tricky stealth levels where you're like a kid roaming the halls of some fucking Roman Empire bullshit, I don't know, and you gotta hide in like big vases to not get caught. I remember that's probably where I ended up getting stuck, because I was terrible at stealth games as a kid. I played this when I was probably 10, 11, 12 years old, something like that, and man, this game was a lot of fun. Never got back to, picking it up later in life and going through the game, but that one stuck with me. When someone popped that game up, I popped. I was like, oh shit, I remember playing that. That's totally an underrated video game. So I was all there for that one. All right, we're getting down. I think there's only 3 more games left. So let's finish off with the final indie game. And this one's pretty old. And I think it's a Ubisoft game, I'm not going to lie. And that game is Child of Light. This is a awesome RPG indie game. Like I said, it's by Ubisoft, but don't let that scare you away. It's one of those like, all right, we'll let you do like one creative game, and this was probably it for that year, and it was really, really fun. Like, I can't remember a lot about it, but I remember the combat in it being really unique and really different. I think it had something to do with timing, kind of like Paper Mario type of thing, but it was really just a really nice looking game, great art style, what am I looking for? Just kind of a cozy game. Like, it wasn't incredibly challenging. I think it's one thing why I continue to think about this game all the time, because I am missing one trophy from the platinum on this game, and I for years I've been like, should I just go back and play through it again? It's one of those ones where I'm going to have to play through it all again. I missed one collectible, and yeah. But I still think about that game, and when I played it, the reviews for it were really good, and that was a time when I was still a little hesitant with indie games, and I gave this one a try, and I loved it. Child of Light was so freaking good. I believe you can get it on Switch now. You can probably get it really cheap. It wasn't an expensive game initially, so give that one a shot if you're looking for like kind of a just like an artsy, cool, calm RPG kind of thing. It was good. Check it out. It was a good time. All right, let's get down to the second last game, and this one is yet another strategy game, but this is the one that kind of set me off down the path to like all the strategy games, and that was Civilization Revolution. Oh, this was on like the console version of Civilization. I played it on PS3. Oh my goodness, this game took over my life for a while there. It was ridiculous. I remember my dad getting mad at me because I wouldn't come down for dinner. He's like, get your ass down here. I'm like, I'm taking over the world, old man. Get away from me. But this game was dope. Oh my god. So it's, for the PC crowd that have played the real Civilization games, this one's probably really tame, lacking a lot of the more in-depth things that Civilization has. It's a very in-depth, got a lot going on strategy game, and this game does too, but it definitely tones it back. It's definitely an introductory style of game, and fuck did it ever work on me. Oh my goodness. I believe I started with a demo, and I got so addicted to the demo, I went out and purchased it, and this is a game that I shit you not, I would play it from the minute I get home from school until I have to go to bed, until there's just, I really got to go to bed now. It was that bad. And it would just be just one game, just this one big epic game. And more often than not, I would always try world domination. The whole point of the game is to, you can win of one of three ways. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think one is nuking your opponent. You can nuke them, develop the nuke, and then deploy the nuke. The other one, I think, is reaching space first. And then the other one, I think, is total domination, something, or political win, something like that. I don't know. Too hard for me. I would always just go for the simple one, get to space. But I would try world domination. And oh my goodness, man, the wars I had in my room up there. Oh my god, just remembering the wars with Genghis Khan and fucking Gandhi and fucking Cleopatra, that bitch. How could you? Always freaking coming after me. I hated her. But this game really got the ball rolling for me, and how much I really love strategy games. It's really there's not many games out there nowadays that I can sit there and play hour after hour after hour and just can't get enough of it, because it just keeps my mind going. I love games like that where I'm constantly thinking about the next move, thinking about the next thing to research, thinking about what my opponent is thinking about and what their opponent is thinking about, and should I team up with that opponent to take out my opponent. And I love Civilization. I think it's 6 they're on now, Civilization 6. I played it on PS5, I downloaded it, and I remember getting into it like I did the old days, playing 3 hours, and then I got beaten, and I didn't like that. I never get beaten, and then I got beaten, and I was like, that was a waste of time. So yeah, I haven't played Civilization since. That was probably 2 years ago now, so I still love Civilization, but man, it all started right there with Civilization Revolution. I fucking love that game so much, and we're here, folks. This is, I didn't put them in any specific order, but this is the one I saved for last. This is the one all the music in this episode is from this game. And man, the year that this game came out, I think it got done so fucking dirty at the Game Awards and stuff. And that game is Psychonauts 2. So Psychonauts 1, probably a super underrated. It is an underrated game. No one bought it. It was really good. I still haven't played it, but I showed up for Psychonauts 2, and I will defend that game. That should have been the game of the year. Fuck that stupid It Takes Two game. That game was nothing compared to Psychonauts 2. Psychonauts 2 was amazing. It may not be the most gorgeous looking game. It almost looks like a fucking PS2 game, sort of. It's not a very good looking game, but it's got just style and fucking charm out the yin-yang. That game struggle to get even close to this style of game, man. It's incredibly charming and funny and creative, and man, was it Tim Schafer? That homie got it going on over there. That shit was so much fun. I love the creative world that is Psychonauts. I really want to play the first one, and I will one day when I think it is available actually on current consoles. I will play it just because it has me so engrossed that you're going into people's minds, and that's the levels, and everyone's mind is different, so everyone's you got these psychedelic minds, you got these fucking dark, scary, crazy minds, and it's an old school PS2 N64 collectathon 3D platformers. It's really absolutely amazing video game. That was by far the best game that I played that year. I think 2019, 2020 when it came out. And when this game just didn't get the acknowledgement that it should have, the people that played it were there for it. They're oh, this game is amazing. It's so fucking good. And then they gave it to It Takes Two, which is a good game, but it had nah, man, I just did not get the feeling out of that game. So Psychonauts 2, gotta play that game, y'all. It's so freaking good. I think it's still on Game Pass. It came out, I think, day one. That's why I was there for it. But it's an amazing game. Like, it was so much fun, so much creativity to it, and one that I really found myself wanting to collect everything. Like, even when I was done with the game, I'm like, I want more. Like, this is just so much fun. Check out Psychonauts 2, y'all, and check out any of the games that was on this list. That's all of them. That's all the games that were on the list for this time. I don't know if I'll do another underrated one. I don't know. I would have to really deep dive and see if I can find some more things that I think are underrated. They're probably out there. They're probably out there for sure. But hit me with some of your underrated games. I would love to know. Like, the more obscure, the better, especially indie games. Let me know of your most underrated indie games, because, like I said, I think indie game period is underrated. Any indie game period, underrated. And doesn't get enough love, unless you're Minecraft or something. You get too much love. Give some love to the other indie games, but hopefully you get a decent recommendation out of this list. Hopefully there's one, maybe even two games that maybe tickle your pickle just a little bit, and let me know if anything here you agree with, or disagree with. Doesn't really matter. It's my list, so make your own friggin' list if you have a problem with my list. And yeah, so there we go, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. You're awesome. Really enjoy doing the list videos because I get to talk about a variety of games, and I try to make list videos revolving around games that I may not have like a whole episode's worth of stuff to say, but I have something to say about it, and hopefully that was this. Like, some of these games on this list have full review episodes. I think I did one for Titanfall 2. There was one for Metal Gear Rising. There was one for Immortality, and I think I did one for Wargroove as well. So go back, and if you want more in-depth reviews on some of the games, go back and listen to any of the GamerCast episodes. They age like a wine. They're just fine. You can listen to them whenever, whatever, however. The other ones, they're more of a weekly recapping situation, so they age a little bit like milk, but you can listen to them anyway because I talk funny, right? Okay, so again, thank you so much for listening. Hit me with recommendations and all that stuff. And make sure you're liking the podcast, reviewing it, hitting the stars, and tell a friend or two that may be interested in this podcast. Let them know about it. Maybe they'll like it, and maybe they'll like you a little bit more, which will make them like me. And I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going with that, but just let people know about it. I've been having a very successful month here with the GX Plus cast, so thank you. If you're new here, welcome to the GamerCast and all the GX Plus cast, all that great stuff. I also upload all these to the YouTube channel, Gamer GX Videos. The link is in the description. You can go check out that. Great place to drop comments on the episodes. If you have a question that you would like answered on the podcast live, I'll shout you out, answer your question, and that would be a lot of fun. So send in questions about video games, wrestling, hockey, doesn't really matter. And there is an email address if you want to have a private conversation or just anything like that. My door is open, or my email door is open. It's there for you if you need it. So hit me up. There is a Twitter page as well where I put up announcements and let you know when the episodes are out, and let you know what maybe I'm going to be doing with the podcast in the future, and what episodes are upcoming, and all that kind of good shit. In terms of what we got going on with the GX Plus cast this week, we had this GamerCast. We're going to have the wrestling recap. The hockey cast just went up, recapping what's been going on with round 2 of the NHL playoffs, which have been pretty fucking wacky. It looked like it was going to be boring, but it just started to get interesting again. So go check that one out. Also talking about some Leaf stuff and what their potential future is going to look like. And it was also episode 100 of the hockey cast. 100 episodes. That's apparently a big deal for podcasters to hit 100 episodes. It's excuse me, not a lot of people make it to 100, so thank you for allowing me to get to 100 episodes. That's awesome, and hopefully we'll do 100 more, and 100 GamerCasts and WrestleCasts and all that great stuff. So stick around with the GX Plus cast, and we will be back again with some more stuff.